in the Porsche 8-lapper, the Bridgestone Porsche Series race, the second we've had here at Pukekohe. You may remember yesterday that the man on the front there, Ray Williams, in the 930 Turbo, didn't get a particularly good start. This time he's actually been almost overtaken. Yes, he has. Pilkington up on the inside of him. And Williams just desperately trying to get it back there. He burned out a clutch yesterday on the start line. It didn't work well for him at all, and then Graham Cameron in car number 10, the 944, got past him. But it's Clive Pilkington right out in the lead already. In the 911 Carrera.
Cameron right back in fourth place and looking very loose going onto the back straight.
Actually did that yesterday too, Trevor, going on to the back out of Castrol there. There's the 930. You see, with the straight line speed going past Pilkington. Williams in the lead now. And he'll extend that just slightly as they get to the end of the straight here. Have a look under brakes. Cameron trying to pluck back the places. He's in fourth. Williams, Pilkington.
The drivers were saying that the rear engine cars actually start better. That's the three you see at the front of the field. The mid-engine or front engine car has a disadvantage because it has less weight over the rear wheel. So on the start it perhaps loses a couple of seconds, but once the race starts you'll see Cameron working his way through, and that's the car that's currently in the fourth position, the silver one.
And this car is very interesting indeed. Car number 6. It's a 1964 356C Carrera, one of only 126 ever made. It's the only one in New Zealand. And you'll see by the number plate it says 4 cams. It is a quad cam. As we say, only 126 of them ever made in the world. One sold recently in the States for $180,000, and this one's probably worth anything up to $500,000 at auction. So he won't want to ding it. That fourth place is where the battle is. These two in front. Ray Williams really running away just a little from Clive Pilkington in second place. And it looked as though Graham Cameron in the back straight there, when you were out of your picture, had actually got past Roger Anderson, but Anderson's still holding him out down the front.
Cameron's got past on the front straight. He went wide and managed to pass just before the braking area. He's now through the bumpy corner at the end of the front straight, where the better balance of his car will enable him to stay in front.
Just have a look at a replay there from the hairpin. Going right around Glyn Jones in the 911. Getting it pointing the wrong way. Back on, no damage, didn't contact anyone. So the 356 being overtaken there by Ray Williams as he continues round with just a couple of laps remaining.
Very close to one of the slower cars there.
Talking costs, I guess the other race we saw yesterday, the Mini 7s, is probably the other end of the scale, and those guys are probably having as much fun in their $7,000 cars as these guys are in their $130,000 cars.
Yeah, they say, of course, that it's cheap motor racing once you've bought the car, but that's a bit like saying you can get cheap accommodation once you've got to the other side of the world. And now the problem that we talked about Ray Williams having yesterday towards the end of the race seems to be reappearing. Getting a little warm in the rear end, in the rubber, and plenty of horsepower, of course, with a 930 turbo. He's allowed to have a 10% increase on what the regulation says the car has as standard, which is 300 horsepower, so he can go to 330. He maintains that he's under 300. Certainly looks like about 300 horsepower. And now Cameron making an impression on Pilkington and challenging for second. He certainly made up a lot in the last lap and a half. The gap between first and second hasn't changed. That's it there. Williams in the 930 and Pilkington in the 911 behind him, with the 944 turbo of Graham Cameron breathing right down his neck. And will he have a go this time as he comes down the straight? He's desperately trying to do it, but the man who gets the line into champion will be the inside. Cameron's gone right around the outside and he's done it.
Cameron's car is definitely better under brakes. It's more stable, and he seems to be able to just leave it another 5 or 6 yards later, and that's how he's got past.
Well, Trevor, knowing the big bump that there is in the middle of champion, that was a fairly brave move, I thought.
I think he's showing a bit of experience there. He's been around there probably more times than anybody else in the field, and you can go in pretty deep if you're prepared to stick with it as it slides through the corner.
I think Cameron's actually lost second place there, hasn't he? Looked to me as though Pilkington came through in front of him. Looking back now, there's Ray Williams coming down to the checkered flag, and we'll have a look at this battle for second place between Cameron. There's the checkered flag for Ray Williams in the 930. Here's Cameron down to it now, so he has